see a cockroach. You can see it. It's on the floor.
That's not really a great mood to be in.
I'm just going to raise my feet up. Oh, it's coming this way. Oh, it's coming right towards me.
He's approaching.
Oh, how interesting.
That's
how cool.
A nice change.
Oh, I'm extremely happy with what's happening right now.
Yeah, that's what
Where
sounds
the
like.
Where did he go?
You know the worst thing than a cockroach you can see is a cockroach that you can't see that you know is near you.
I want to die right now.
Well,
this is my hell.
That's how you're going to live now.
Hello and welcome to The Red Menace. We're a comedy news podcast and we're besieged by cockroaches.
You are. I, on the other hand, live a cockroach-free area, as far as I can tell. God
damn you. We're a comedy news podcast. We bring you the latest and greatest hits of stories from around the place. So as of today, my wonderful new partner introduced me to a video game called Detroit Beyond Human.
Oh, okay.
It's a narrative video game. So it's kind of like it plays out like an interactive movie.
Okay.
It's written by a man named David Cage, who is a French man.
Is he related to Nicolas Cage?
No, but I would say the tone of their work is similar, intentionally or otherwise.
Sure, well, perhaps they are distantly related then.
So David has made his video game it's about androids, and it's about the way that society is just like oppressing these androids.
Yeah, it's true.
And David says that his video game is not about racism.
No, it's
not.
He says it's completely different.
His video game about androids set in Detroit is not about racism. Within the first 10 minutes of the video game, there's a bit where the androids are made to stand at the back of the bus. Like... Dave? Are you sure about that one,
Are you
Dave?
sure it's not about racism? But do you know what other movie...
Because it kind of seems...
You know the movie District 9? That also wasn't about racism. That's,
But I think that one was actually, like, the dude would admit that it was about racism, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, it wasn't... It was nothing to do with racism, just like Detroit Become Human.
In interviews, Dave has said that he's like, no, it's not about racism. It's just about whatever you want it to be. But the androids have to stand up the back of the bus.
Also, it's in Detroit.
It's in Detroit. Why did you set it in Detroit, Dave, if it's not about racism?
Why, Dave?
It's the only reason to set things in Detroit. It's about racism, or if it's 8 Mile. That's the two reasons.
Do the humans drink from human-only bubblers that are no androids allowed?
I've played about 20 minutes of this video game, so I don't know yet. But there was definitely lots of protests of humans saying how they wanted to ban androids and how androids were taking all the jobs.
Oh, that's... I think perhaps it's not about racism because they don't really know which race is the android allegory. It sounds like humans are the white people and the androids are literally everyone else.
I think it's about, all racisms.
All racisms.
And I've heard on the grapevine that towards the end of this here video game, there is some Holocaust imagery.
Oh,
so
this is troublesome.
Dave has made his video game about all racism.
All racisms, but simultaneously no racism.
None racism. What I'm saying is that David Cage has fixed racism, and I appreciate that.
He's colorblind for sure.
He definitely is.
Yeah.
He's not android blind.
No,
though.
he can't see color. He just sees, grayscale, I suppose.
He sees only wires and non-wires.
Yeah.
Like he sees bionic.
He sees the electromagnetic fields that surrounds the thing, and that shows you whether it's organic or inorganic from the electromagnetic field.
Do you have a story to start us off?
Well, can I share a story that I clicked on the headline of that I was really disappointed wasn't more of a story? Because I opened the tab and there's pretty much nothing to it, but the headline was very exciting, and which is from the Hobart Examiner. It's a Tasmanian newspaper, and the headline.
That makes sense.
is Tasmanians Ripped Off at Adult Parties in States North. It's by Sarah Aquilina.
Okay, so you said this is not much of a story.
Well, there's not much to it. It's like there's no paragraphs, which is really sad.
Okay. Can I hypothesize then? Can we try and
Yeah,
spitball?
exactly.
So what was the headline?
Okay. It says...
I want to make 5 minutes of content out of this headline alone. I feel like we can do
Ripped Off at Adult Parties in States North.
So there's a few different possibilities.
Sure.
One is we take the obvious one of like these adult parties, these like eyes wide shut parties, the people were like not getting their money's worth. That's the boring way to think about it.
Yeah.
I think what's more interesting is that they literally had to rip Tasmanians off one another at these adult parties because they were just getting fucking rowdy.
But it's not Tasmanians being ripped off one another. It's being Tasmanians being ripped off other people. Because it says Tasmanians ripped off at adult parties. It doesn't say Tasmanians ripped off other Tasmanians at adult parties.
Fuck. The cockroach is flying. Fuck. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. The sound of your mic falling over as you leave the room to deal with the cockroach.
Where are you, you piece of shit? Wait up, Alison. I'm going to bring you in on the action.
Okay. Keep me posted on what's happening.
I've got the spray, but I've lost his location.
Oh, no.
Where did you go, you fucker? It was so big. It went right at my face.
That's not ideal.
That's what she said.
That's not great.
No, none of it's great. All right, I'm just going to keep the spray at the desk, and when it comes back, I'm going to get it. Okay, well that was stressful. Please continue with your story.
Yeah, well look, because I clicked on this, I was really excited to like get into this Randy story because this is the kind of content we would be really into. But unfortunately, Sarah Aquilina, the journalist, has not provided us with a lot of content to go with here.
That's criminal.
Yeah. So you know Tupperware parties. Lingerie parties, all of those kind of parties where people just buy stuff from their friends at a party.
Yes, a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, you get invited to someone's house and they try and sell you, like, plastic goods to put your food in. Well, apparently people are doing that now with sex toys.
Alison, wait a second, I see him. Fuck you! Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you got him.
Eat shit.
Eat shit and die.
Wow, he's freaking the fuck out. No, he's done. He's fucking done.
You did it. You did it.
Alright, well, I'm going to be inhaling poison for the rest of this recording session.
It might make it like a more interesting experience.
It might. But I have to sleep in this room later.
So you know, like those kind of parties. So they're having sex toy versions of those parties. Where you can go to your friend's house and they put out a display of all the sex toys that their pyramid scheme has given them to sell. And then you buy sex toys from your aunt, who I assume invited you to this, because who else would run this kind of thing?
Okay, see, here's the thing.
Sure.
Compared to a Tupperware party, this sounds much more fun. Like,
I would
know,
much rather go to the kind of people who would organise and like run this are probably not very fun people. They're not the kind of people you want purveying sex toys to you, you know?
No, I guess that is true. I think, like, if someone really knows their sex toy, then they probably just keep that shit to themselves. Like
the only people who would be involved in these kind of pyramid schemes are either that friend from high school that was kind of, like, they weren't really your friend in high school, but they pop up out of the blue on Facebook to, like, message you about their pyramid scheme after, like, 10 years. And then also, like, your weird aunt.
I don't want my aunt to know the kind of dildos that I'm into is the problem. That's just not... I think that I like to be close with my family, but that's a bridge too far.
Too much. And the shame is that there's not a lot of details about this. It just says Tasmania Police is called... I can read the whole article for you. I'll read the entire article, Chris. So, a number of northern Tasmanians who attended sex toy parties last year have not had their orders fulfilled. Tasmania Police is calling on anyone who went to an adult party between January and August, ordered and paid for items, had not received to get in touch.
Who would have thought that would be a scam? Who could have possibly foreseen that? Who could have maybe ever seen that coming?
Yeah.
Well, what a wild thing to happen.
You go to your aunt's house to buy sex toys and you never receive them. And then I'll read the rest of the article, Chris, because there's literally nothing to it. It's very sad. People are asked to call the police on 131 444, quote, offence report number 595753, and leave their name and number so the investigating officer can make contact. In a Facebook post, Tasmania Police said, help us crack this hard case. They didn't say it in that voice because it was a Facebook post. But there you
hi,
go.
This is Officer Deakins. You reported you've been ripped off of a dildo. Oh, yes, that's right. Could you please specify the make and model of that?
Of what you are, the merchandise that you ordered?
So that we can track it down. It's green.
If you bought a sex toy and you, like, from your Aunt Linda, because it's her, she's the one who ran the sex toy party.
If I did that, I would immediately kill myself, but please continue.
But, like, imagine you did that and you didn't kill yourself. And then you got ripped off and you didn't get your sex toy, and then the police said to leave your name and number with them so they can phone you to ask you about the merchandise, which you didn't receive. It sounds like
what
I would
do is I would leave them... I would leave them my Aunt Linda's name and number so that Linda can deal with it. Linda can explain to the police what kind of dildo I ordered.
If I was in this situation, for some bizarre reason, I would buy a burner phone, absolutely a burner phone, and make a fake identity just to, I want to participate in the case. I want to make sure that these the bastards get caught, justice is served, all that kind of stuff. But also, I don't want the police calling my actual phone number and my actual name to ask me about this merchandise, which I have purchased.
About dildo crap. Well, here's the thing.
Sure.
Is that if you order an adult implement off the internet, you have to give them your email address, your physical
your
real life
house address. Sure.
Now there are some pro tips to get around that. Not that I would have any expertise on this, but post office boxes and parcel lockers are both. So get your dildos delivered to those. So you don't have to give the dildo company your address.
Woolworths has the parcel pickup, where you can get your parcel delivered to Woolworths and they will keep it for you.
Woolworths phones you and they're like, there's a parcel here under your name. It won't stop vibrating. Could you please come and collect it as soon as possible?
It's making our staff feel profoundly uncomfortable. If you know more about this story, please phone in to our hot tips line at Red Menace Cast and we can learn more about this. But unfortunately, the Tasmanian Examiner has not given me enough information about this story. It's left me feeling rather unsatisfied.
Tell us the story of your adult Tupperware party, and please tell us the make and model of what was stolen from you.
Which aunt's house you went to, and whether you felt uncomfortable going to your aunt's house to buy sex toys.
It was Glenda, wasn't it?
It was Glenda, big time.
It's always Glenda.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a story here that was submitted to me by a listener and friend of mine by the name of Marianne.
Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you, Marianne. Just going to open this bad boy up in my browser. So this is from au.news.yahoo. Yahoo 7 News.
Yahoo 7, okay.
The headline is, I'll be finished in 6 minutes. Meditating commuter berated by ticket inspector.
Oh, I read this. I love this.
You read this one?
Yeah.
How good is it?
What a tactic.
I know. Melbourne's public transport system and their ticket inspectors are no stranger to public spats, but chances are you've never seen one settled like this before. Steph Athanopoulos was on her way to the Greek consulate on Monday morning when she decided to use the trip as a chance to fit in her daily meditation.
As you do.
What came next? Well, I mean, I legit also do that.
Sure, I catch up on my sleep.
I meditate on the train all the dang time. What came next had commuters in stitches. The 27-year-old unlocked her iPhone, set a timer for 20 minutes, closed her eyes, and entered a deep session of transcendental meditation.
Transcendental meditation. It sounds like esoteric breast massage.
Touche. My meditation is just like, I think about my breathing and sadness for like 20 minutes. That's like how I do it. It's great.
Yeah, sure.
Where one reiterates their personal mantra subconsciously in a state of silence. Alison, what's your personal mantra?
I don't think I am spiritually aware enough to have a personal mantra.
I feel like my personal mantra is... Well, it's got to be a pop song, for a start.
Does it have to be?
Between... I think that it's I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas, because I fucking hate that song.
That song is awful.
It's really bad. But I really love the bit where they go...
Ooh.
Because you can tell, like, it's overcompensating. Like, they're like, I got a feeling tonight's going to be a good night. It's like, if you really felt like that, you wouldn't need to go on about it.
You wouldn't need to say that. You'd just have a fun time.
Yeah, so that's
Do you know what
mantra.
the Black Eyed Peas in that song are going to go home and, like, you know, they're just texting all their friends, like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Up to anything good? And someone's like, oh, sorry, I'm at my friend's wedding. Oh, I'm out of town tonight. You know, they've got a feeling it's going to be a good night because that's what they say to their work colleagues when they leave that Friday night. They go home and they text everyone and everyone's busy. So they, you know, sadly watch Netflix, a movie they've already seen before, by the way. They watch The Cobbler.
They watch Mission Impossible 2. Oh, God. Why didn't we talk about The Cobbler in the intro? My God, what a... Can I ask everybody out there who's listening to this show, all 10 million people who listen to this show,
for sure.
Could you please go onto Netflix and watch the Adam Sandler film The Cobbler? Because, firstly, it's maybe the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's
Secondly,
quite racist.
It's very bad. But it sets its... The ending of the film suggests that it thinks that we'll get a sequel. So this is a movie about...
This movie is a superhero origin story.
Yeah, but a guy about a super cobbler. So a shoe fixer. And he has super shoe powers. It's the dumbest movie ever made. It's directed by the same guy who directed Spotlight somehow. It's so fucking fascinating.
Yeah,
Everyone watch The Cobbler.
But the movie thinks it's a lot smarter than it is to begin with. But then the ending, you're right. It's just like, it sets it up like this isn't going to be just a movie with a sequel, Chris. This is going to be an entire cinematic universe.
The Cobbler cinematic universe.
And there's going to be another guy in the universe somewhere who like puts on hats, and then when he puts on the hat, he gets the exact... I don't know, he can read the mind of the person whose hat he's wearing.
Yeah, because it's got to be a different superpower for each item of clothing.
Yeah, he can't, transform. So the hat, if you wear their hat, you can read all their thoughts.
That makes sense, because that's like head. So the plot of The Cobbler basically is that there's this guy who, when he puts on someone else's shoes, he transforms into that person. Because
he saw the quote, walk a mile in your shoes, and he said, oh, that's deep.
Yeah, it sucks ass.
And then he made that into a movie.
So I think that if, like a glove maker, so when they put on gloves, they can do whatever that person's good at doing. Like they gain all their skills.
Yes, absolutely.
A jeweler, whenever you put on that person's jewels, you get their bank balance.
I want that one.
I want the jeweler powers.
That's a good power. And then you know what? Like kids will be like wearing like cool like gloves from like the glove maker, or like
an iPhone repair person. When they get someone else's iPhone, they immediately get the password to your Instagram and they can do all of your shit.
No way. That's the most horrifying part.
Instantly know all your passwords.
No.
Alison, I really want to make the Cobbler cinematic universe.
Call up Adam Sandler. He'll greenlight it. He'll give you the money you need to make it.
I think we could get the rights to the cobbler. I feel like it can't be that expensive.
I don't think it's that expensive.
If we call up Adam Sandler and say, okay, I've got like $20, can you give me the rights to the cobbler, please?
Also, will you star in our cobbler cinematic universe that we have established? He'd probably be like, do I get to go on a holiday to film this? And you're like, yeah, sure, you can come to Australia. And he's like, okay.
It'll do.
It'll do.
Is Adam Sandler going to play all of these people, or is he like the mentor figure to all of them?
Oh, no, it's going to be like a Jack and Jill situation where he's playing all of them.
Why do we even bother with other actors? Let's just have Adam Sandler and Al Pacino, and that'll be all of it.
And Eddie Murphy.
And Eddie Murphy, Jesus
Eddie Murphy
Christ.
as the entire family in that movie. What story were we even talking about?
Oh, the meditation thing.
Okay, let's get back to this story, because it's actually quite good.
It is. So,
we got well off track.
We did. I initially thought of what if a ticket inspector comes on while I'm meditating? But then I thought, I've literally never seen one before, so I should be fine, Steph told Yahoo News. Which, good for you, Steph. I see the fucking train Nazis every single day. I swear to God.
She definitely lives in the rich suburbs if she doesn't see them.
Yeah, I swear to God, every time I've come home from work in the last fortnight, the train Nazis have come and been like, show me your Opal card. And I'm like, what if I don't want to? And then I do it anyway.
I'll tell you a funny story. I took students on an excursion on Friday. And then we're going back, and one of my students was like, oh, I never tap my Opal card. And I'm like, well, please tap your Opal card just so I know that you've tapped it, because if the inspector comes on, you might get a fine. And then he's like, okay, begrudgingly tapped his Opal card as we got on the light rail train. And then the train inspectors were there, and someone sitting next to our group got a fine. And I felt like a very smart gal. No one in my group did.
You taught them something that day.
I did. And they're like, what? There's inspectors? I'm like, yes. But you know what? I felt like I saved him $200.
All right. Come to the poor parts of Sydney sometime.
Yeah.
Come join us plebs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I thought they'd understand. They will just say, oh, you're meditating.
Yeah, of course. That's how the law enforcement authorities work.
Unfortunately for the Chapel Street waitress, that streak came to an end about 14 minutes into her meditation session. I only became aware of the inspector when she smacked on the window next to my head. Ooh. Then she banged on the chair, then the bag on my lap, then started kicking my feet, Steph explained.
I'm sorry? There's like police brutality from the ticket inspector.
But she's not a cop. She's like, she works for the train company. Like, that's assault.
Yeah. That's not
like
ideal.
When a security guard tries to accost you and you're like, excuse me, are you a cop? You can't touch me. Now I'm going to take all of the stuff off of this shelf and leave. Thank you.
Yeah, and then Paul Blart goes on his Segway and cries.
And we all feel better about the world.
We do, indeed.
I looked down at my phone, checked the timer, and said, hey, I'm meditating and I'll be finished in 6 minutes, and then closed my eyes. I don't think she took a breath from her constant berating. She was shouting, show me your ticket. By ignoring me, you can be prosecuted. The police will get involved. See, she's not a cop. I was impressed with her commitment. Fellow commuter Suki was sitting on the other side of the aisle and struggling not to cry of laughter.
That's so me. That's very relatable.
It was a quiet tram. There wasn't many people on it. The inspector was very persistent and kept repeating, excuse me, and banging on the area around the woman to get her attention, but she was so deep in her meditation she didn't even respond.
At which point do you just go, fine, I'm checking everyone else's tickets, and then just give up? Because you know what? Do you know what? Her friend, who's sitting a few seats behind her, didn't have a ticket. She's taken one for the team. No one else on that train... No, it could be a situation where literally no one else on that carriage had a ticket, and they're like, all like, please focus on this woman.
Interesting.
And they get away with it.
So, like... Okay, so it wasn't even like 20 minutes. It was she had to wait until she heard them arriving at the next station.
Yeah, exactly.
Had to wait till the next stop so her friend could escape the ticket Nazis. And I like this. This is fun.
Yeah, there's lots of possibilities, for sure.
When Steph's timer finally went off, she went to her wallet, pulled out her MyKey and concession cards, and handed them over to the increasingly frustrated inspector.
The inspector waited. Dear.
She said to me, "Do you know what would happen if I had to wait 20 minutes for everyone on this tram to finish their meditation?" Steph recalled. I replied, "The world would be a much better place."
Oh, wrecked.
Wrecked.
Oh, no.
So, a Yarra Tram spokesperson told 7 News that authorised officers are employed to ensure passengers travel fairly across the network who are expected to show a valid MyKey card when asked. The spokesperson said employees are trained in handling such incidents in a professional manner, which I would dispute because she kicked the person.
Yeah, that's not very professional.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all the article has.
Yeah.
But, like,
well,
I want to use that technique in
that
future.
That is a very special technique. It's a very fun story.
Have you got anything more? Excuse me, I'm very sleepy.
Remember Andrew Broad?
Refresh my memory?
Our everyone's favourite sugar baby politician.
Oh, fuck yeah, he was the best.
So for those, well, we have talked about him on the podcast before.
Like 4 times, but it's been worth it.
To refresh everyone's memory, Andrew Broad is a politician in Australia who had a little bit of a scandal after hooking up with a sugar baby in Hong Kong.
Hooking up is a strong word.
Well, they went on one date and she rejected him.
Yeah, he got rejected by a sugar baby in Hong Kong.
He got rejected by a sugar baby.
Yeah.
And
I just think that's an important detail for everyone to remember. It is very important
for everyone to know that he got rejected. After he said that he is a Aussie country guy who flies planes and
he knows how to fuck his
women.
He knows how to fuck his woman. That's the main thing I remember.
He knows how to fuck his woman and fly planes, is what he said. So,
two very useful skills, let's be real.
Yeah, so, you know, Andrew Broad has kind of maybe soiled his reputation a little bit. He's not doing too well for himself. And
soiled is an excellent use of the word there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, like, generally when people soil their reputation, they kind of try and stay out of the public eye for as much as they can, really.
Oh my God, what's he done?
He's decided to, again, speak out to the media regarding this experience.
Andrew.
And this is from the Wimmera Mail Times, which is a Wimmera-based newspaper.
Okay.
And what I'm gathering from, like, the scenery here is there's a festival called Wimmera Machinery Field Days. And the journalist Alexander Darling, which is a lovely name, Alexander Darling, Alexander Darling ran into Andrew Broad at Field Days 2009, the Machinery Field Days, and the journalist has decided to have a conversation with Mr. Broad on the record. And there's some interesting quotes. So I'll read the headline. Field Days 2009, which is the festival that he's at. Outgoing Mallee MP Andrew Broad speaks to the Wimmera Mail Times for the first... Outgoing Mallee MP Andrew Broad speaks to the Wimmera Mail Times for the first time after the sugar baby scandal. It's a very wordy headline.
It is, yeah.
So the picture is Andrew Broad posing at this machinery festival, which I assume he was doing as a fun media stunt to just show up. And, of course, the journalist, Alexander Darling, has decided to ask him about the sugar baby scandal. And he's got some more interesting takes on this whole situation to share with the people. So it says, member for Mallee, Andrew Broad, has spoken to his Wimmera constituents for the first time since the sugar baby scandal that prompted him to step down from politics. Speaking to the Wimmera Mail Times at the Wimmera at the Wimmera Machinery Field Days on Wednesday, the outgoing MP said he doesn't feel the need to apologise to his electorate after the scandal that prompted to step down from his role. That's a bad sentence. But I show there'd be the scandal that prompted him to step down from his role, but there's no him there. Anyway, Alexander Darling is a great guy with a great name, so we'll let that slide.
It sounds like there is someone driving a lawnmower back and forth outside my window, which is super cool from an audio perspective, and I'm sorry in advance to everyone if that shows up in it. I just felt I should mention that that's what that is, and it's not. I don't think I can remove it.
Yeah, look. So it's got the information about what happened. It says, in December, the news that he had dinner with a woman he met on a dating website while on a work trip to Hong Kong was made public. Mr. Broad vowed at the time he would not recontest his seat at this year's federal election.
Has he changed his mind about that?
Well, that's in the next article of this story.
Oh my God.
Because this one is from the 6th of March. There's another one from the 9th of March, which floats that possibility. But this one's funny because of his quote explaining the scandal again. So he says, "I made a mistake. People are not perfect, and I'm not perfect either," he said. "I had dinner with someone who wasn't my wife. Rachel, my wife, and I are fine. We have worked things out and we're going to have a nice life together with our foster daughter, and we're looking forward to doing other things for the community in a different way."
He's very optimistic, I'll give him that.
He sure is.
Rachel and I are fine.
Rachel and I are fine,
We're
okay?
fine,
My
okay?
wife, Rachel, we're fine.
I'm sleeping on the couch and she spits in my face every morning, but
we're
fine.
fine. We're fine. She says we're fine. When I ask her about the relationship, she says, it's fine.
Rachel's standing off in the corner saying, "I haven't had an orgasm in 10 years.
Oh, God. So it says, well, we know that this guy, as much as it's funny laughing about this scandal, we know he's an absolute scumbag for various other reasons. But it says Mr. Broad faced allegations he was a hypocrite, particularly after his views on same-sex marriage that likened couples to rams in a paddock. What a fuckwit. Anyway.
I liken him to a turd in the mud.
Yeah, me too. But that might be generous. Because that would, add some substance to the mud, which would make plants grow. I don't think he's...
All right, a turd in a fire.
Okay, good. Yeah. So then he goes on to explain about this, that the scandal is an issue between my wife and I. As soon as it happened, I went home, sat down and explained to her what I had done, he said.
And she said...
How do you open that conversation with your wife, though? He's like, as soon as he gets rejected, he's like, "So, sweetheart, I, tried to pick up a sugar baby on a sugar baby dating website, and she rejected me."
Okay, here's what maybe she had a little something on the side, too, and she was just like, "Well, I guess I can't be that mad at you."
Yeah.
Okay, this brings up something I read the other day, which was on I've mentioned before the relationships.txt Twitter that I follow. There was a really fucking good one the other day that was about a man who, for his somethingth birthday, his wife bought him a gift massage, and he went to the massage, and the massage person gave him a happy ending, and then he went home to his wife and said. She was like, "How was it?" And he was like, "Oh, it was really great. I didn't expect it to end like that, but how fun." And then she was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then he told her, and then she was like, "What the shit, Brian? Why would you let someone do that to you? You've cheated on me." And he was like, "I thought it was a nice gift. I thought you'd bought me a hand job." And
oh, no.
Just... Note to men out there, I don't think your wife has bought you a hand job. If you ever think that...
She probably, yeah.
Think again.
So anyway...
Sorry, I just thought that was worth telling.
Yeah, that's... Anyway, so he's stepped down from politics, but then 2 days after that previous article, so this one's on March 8th, Latika Burke, also a journalist for the Wimmera Mail Times, has written an article that Andrew Broad floats prospect of a future tilt as an independent.
Oh, fuck off, Andrew.
Oh, Andrew.
What are you going to campaign on? What's your policies? Just that that we should... I think he's going to campaign on a policy of forgiveness.
Yeah.
A policy of a policy of very understanding marriages. Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway, that's about all.
What a fuckhead.
And then the quote from this article that I want to share, right, is his this is what he says about in terms of his greatest disappointment during his time as a parliamentarian. He says, "My greatest disappointment being part of the federal government was that we cut our foreign aid budget from $5 billion to $3.8 billion per year," he said. So that's a big disappointment. But I feel like, surely given certain other scandals...
No, that was just like swings and roundabouts, Shit happens.
Ruining your career, swings and roundabouts.
Sometimes you just fall into an app, and then you fall into a chat, and then you fall into a date. Like, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it could happen to anyone. Sure.
Like, you don't even have to try. You just sometimes you fall into like a relationship or like into a person, and like sometimes it just happens. Like, you just send like 20 messages for a week, and you drive to the place and meet the person. Like, it all just happens by accident.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? He went home and explained to his wife, "Look, I tripped, and then I bumped a button on my phone, and then this website opened, and then for some reason my hand had a spasm, and I accidentally made an account, and then next thing I know, I'm typing in my password and credentials and all that kind of stuff, and a lady's face pops up, and I'm trying to swipe her face.
I just kept trying to swipe
away.
left, and it swiped right. I think the app was bugged.
Yeah, it must have been, and then accidentally, like, somehow my phone auto-filled some messages to
I think
her.
Maybe I got hacked.
Yeah, perhaps. I don't know what happened there. It could happen to anyone. And then his wife's like, "Oh, yeah, it could happen to anyone." And while we're at it...
On that note...
I'm sorry, I don't want to, like, slander his wife. I'm sure his wife, Rachel, is a lovely person.
A lovely, somewhat masochistic person.
Yeah. Anyway, good luck in your future in politics, Andrew Broad. I hope no one forgets you.
I have a story from stuff.co.nz, the best website.
Our weekly feature now.
Yeah. Late passengers watch helplessly as cruise ship leaves without them.
Too bad, so sad.
What happens when you're 45 minutes late for your cruise? Turns out they will leave you behind. One couple found this out the hard way when they were filmed by another cruise passenger missing their chance to board the Royal Caribbean vessel, the Symphony of the Seas in Nassau, Bahamas. I would like to describe this image to you because it's the best thing I've seen in my entire fucking life.
Is it rich people getting left behind by a cruise boat?
It's two people. There is a man in a white hoodie, cap, backpack, pink shorts.
That's very cruise passenger attire.
There's a woman in like a flowy red one-piece sort of outfit. He is throwing his arms up in the air in frustration. She's just kind of like cupping a bag in front of her. He's just looking out at the ocean. So they're standing on like a dock, looking out at the ocean where a boat used to be. And oh my god, it's just fucking beautiful.
Oh, too bad, so sad.
What would you do in this circumstance? Like,
leave them behind.
No, but if you were this person, like, would you try and chase down this boat and climb up it? Like in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, of course you would. You'd hijack the Royal Navy's boat, the fastest boat they have.
Yeah.
And then, actually, in order to do that, you need to hijack another one of their boats, so then they all get distracted trying to catch you on that boat. Then you use the ropes that are hanging from the stuff, like the pole stuff. You swing down onto the fast boat called the Interceptor, and you and, like, a ragtag group of friends drive that boat out.
This is after you've kidnapped Keira Knightley, right?
Yeah, you've kidnapped Keira Knightley, and... What's his face is there too. Orlando Bloom's there too.
Legolas is there.
Legolas is there. And then you go into the sea, and then you find out that Geoffrey Rush is a skeleton, and then that's what happens.
That's most of the film. Then they fight some zombies, and that's the movie.
They fight zombie skeletons, and Johnny Depp is a zombie skeleton too. And then he puts the blood in the medallion, and that's the story. of Pirates of the Caribbean.
And then in the next one, there's a Squid Man, and I like the Squid Man a lot.
The Squid Man is the best character. Davey Jones, my favourite Squid Man.
If I could be any, like, if I could be you know how there's like those like lowbrow erotic novels that'll be like about like, you know, my time with the werewolf. I want to read My Time with the Squid Man, because I think he could do some shit with those tentacles.
That's someone's fetish. That's someone's.
Oh, it 100% is, Alison.
No doubt.
That, like, I bet there's Davey Jones fan fiction out there.
Just hang on. Let's find out. Let's go
can
on
we look up some
AO3.
Davey Jones Pirates of the Caribbean Squid Man fanfic?
AO3. Okay, results from AO3. Let's type in Davey Jones POTC. Let's see what comes up.
Potok.
Oh, here we go. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, well, it's saying about a privacy policy being that I'm aware that there might be erotic content on Archive of Our Own.
I would like there to be some. I feel like there's not a lot of point in this otherwise.
Now, there are, in fact, 71 works featuring Davey Jones in the Pirates of the Caribbean one.
Is there a choice title?
Hang on. Let me search by mature and explicit. That's relationships. Oh,
I want to know what it would be like to date the Squid Man. I feel like the Squid Man would be a generous lover because he has 8 tentacles coming out of his face.
Let's see. Explicit featuring Davey Jones. Now, sort and filter. There are 5 explicit ones featuring Davey Jones.
What the fuck are the other 70?
Well, maybe someone didn't rate it as explicit.
Okay.
This one is Davey Jones, feature/original character.
Oh.
This is someone's OC they've created for this.
Davey Jones and their friend Steve.
This is called You the Abandoned by Ledgers on Archive of Our Own. And this is the tags. Davey Jones/original character. Davey Jones, original male character.
Of course.
Jack Sparrow, alcohol abuse, alcoholism, blood and violence, first kiss, explicit sexual content, oral sex, suicide attempt.
Jesus fuck,
this
dude.
Story?
That's all of them.
Oh no.
May contain. You know how on like movie boxes there's like contains strong coarse language and mild themes?
Yeah.
This is like all the possible ones you can have.
Oh dear. So there's another one, which is also by the same author, Ledgers.
Okay.
Which has a lot of, it's again, Davey Jones/original characters. The tags here, the additional tags, again, blood and violence, gore, sex, tentacle sex.
I mean, of course, obviously.
What have I done?
Oh, that's a tag?
That's a tag they've made. What have I done? They know what they've created here.
And okay, so that's like the shame tag.
Yeah.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Oh, and do you know what? This is written in second person.
Oh. So it's describing something happening to me.
It's a second person experience.
Given how I believe this work is intended to be used, that seems fairly reasonable to me. I think that seems like good target audience.
This isn't a podcast we are, so I'm not going to read out this fan fiction, but if you want to go find it, it's there on AO3. Search it up. You know how to get it.
Davey Jones.
So what story were we talking about, sorry?
I don't remember. This has been a very tangenty. Oh, it's the people who missed the cruise ship.
Oh,
now,
okay. So what happened to these people who missed the cruise ship? What did they do?
Oh, nothing. That's just about it, really. I just really like... I like the idea of... so apparently the couple hangs around for a while just kind of watching the ship sail away.
Now, I like the forward thinking, of those people who filmed these guys getting left behind.
They knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, they knew. they knew it would be like a cool viral video.
I like to imagine that the ship's like 100 meters away and one of them goes to try and throw something at the ship and they can throw it like 5 meters. And then they throw like one of their shoes.
How are you late for your cruise ship, though? I feel like all my experiences with like international travel have been I arrive about 10 hours early to the airport.
Then you have to sit in the McDonald's and make the 200 megabytes of Sydney Wi-Fi last.
The Sydney airport free Wi-Fi.
A fucking day.
Yeah.
Or you do what I do and have pre-downloaded an entire season of Terrace House and just kind of watch that.
Good point. And then, you kind of sit there and you know that you've paid way too much money for the coffee that you're drinking or the cup of tea, we're using the Lipton tea bag that you're drinking that cost you $5. You know you spent that money, but, you're still going to buy it.
Do you have a story to finish us off?
Well, this is a story, actually, that one of my friends who is a regular listener sent in. My friend Xanthi, shout out to her. She likes to listen to this while she's cooking dinner, and her family, unfortunately, also has to listen in. So I'm sorry, Xanthi, if your family is listening in to this episode and had to deal with us reading the tags on those fanfiction things before.
I'm sorry, Xanthi's family. I feel like this has been a kind of madcap episode. Full of
we've had a lot of
bug attacks and tentacle porn. So, like,
it is 10 p.m. on a Saturday night when we're recording this. We're not necessarily in the most.
I'm so fucking tired, Xanthi.
We're not in the most logical frame of mind at this point of the night. So, apologies to that. But this is a story that she sent in, and it's maybe wholesome.
Okay.
It's questionable.
I'm not convinced. I feel like based on your tone alone, I'm going to be able to turn it into something not wholesome.
Yeah.
That's my superpower.
This is by ABC Newcastle, and it's by journalist Anthony Scully.
Okay.
And it says, Prize doe Lily delivers the rings on Rose Strong Ramsey's wedding day.
What?
The prize doe, by the way, is a goat. I don't know why they're calling it a doe. I suppose a doe is the name for a female goat, perhaps?
Okay. Isn't that like a... I don't fucking know. Please continue.
Well, if I've learned anything from Sound of Music, doe is a deer, a female deer.
Yeah, exactly. I've learned that from Harry Potter.
Okay, so it says, when Rose Strong Ramsey... That's her name, Rose Strong Ramsey.
That's extremely good.
That's very good. When Rose Strong Ramsey waited at the altar with her husband, it was her prize doe, Lily, that delivered the rings to the best man.
Aww.
Oh, yeah, it's very cute. The idea to use Lily as a ring bearer took root slowly. I had a few people who used to say, "You will have goats in your wedding, won't you?" Miss Strong Ramsey said. And she was like, "Oh, I don't know." But then the idea kind of took root, especially when I saw that some people had used a dog as their ring bearer. So
it's creative.
Who is, Rose Strong Ramsey that people just assume she's going to have goats at her wedding?
I feel like that it could mean a few things.
Sure.
Because the goat is the universal symbol of the devil.
Yeah.
It could also just like... I feel like a goat is like, oh, you silly goat. Like, it's a sort of a silly animal.
Yeah, it's a silly animal.
Or she's a goat farmer, but I think that's the least interesting of the options. So I'm choosing to believe that she's a Satanist, which, like, it's like
of course.
There are some pretty cool Satanists out there, so, like, she sounds like a cool individual.
Well, this goat has a very cool beard.
Ooh.
It's very good. It's, like, very much the standard goat beard. But it's very long and well groomed.
That's what hipster beards based their whole look off, is goats.
Yeah, goat beards. Now, here's the thing about this goat. It's not just any goat. This is a famous goat.
Oh.
This goat starred as Dora the Goat in television drama Doctor Doctor for the 9 Network and on television commercials for eBay.
I think we're misusing the word famous, but...
Hey, it's very famous. Doctor Doctor on the 9 Network.
The 9 Network, internationally syndicated.
But here's the actual sentence, and I'm going to read this out for you because there's a pun here which I think you won't appreciate. So it says Lily, who is starred as Dora the Goat in television drama Doctor Doctor for the Nine Network and on television commercials for eBay, did not bark at the idea.
Alison, I'm done.
Finished. This story's over.
I can't. It's too...
Yeah.
The fucking puns, Alison, they're bringing me down.
Yeah.
I'm getting like this existential pun dread. Like I'm thinking in puns, I'm dreaming in puns.
It appears that a pun, just, it's coming. Every time you're reading a story and you're enjoying it, you just are waiting for that pun to come.
Road signs, they're being translated in my head into puns, like automatically. I've got like a pun babel fish in my ear all the time.
There's this card game called Pundodrome, which is, as it seems, a pun game. And it's one of those games where you have to like anonymously put in your thing and people need to vote on which one's the best. Chris, I won a lot of rounds of that game and I felt deeply ashamed by the content that I was producing in order to win that game.
If someone says I love you to me, I can't stop imagining a goat because it's you. Like that's what I'm fucking talking about.
At the altar, she turns to her husband and says, "I love you." Oh no, that's what happened.
They've wormed their way into my fucking skull and they're never coming out.
Oh, I just came up with a worse one though.
Okay, because mine was pretty bad.
I don't know if I want to share this one though.
Nah, do it. Fuck it.
No, I don't.
Alison, you can't just say that and not do it.
I'll let you come to this one yourself. What will the bride say to her husband on the honeymoon?
I don't know.
What anatomy do goats have on their head?
Oh, fuck me. That's what she'll say. All right, that's better. Yeah, let's go with that. Stick with that one. All right, that's brought me back up. I'm back. I'm in the game.
You're back in the mood for some content.
Christ.
Yeah.
Is there more to this?
Not really. Not really. She is actually a goat farmer who produces goat's milk, so that's why she has a goat at her wedding. A famous goat.
Makes a lot of sense.
But I feel like she has more celebrities at her wedding than most people do, so good, all power to her,
I can't get married until I've befriended some celebrities. You've
got to... Exactly. Until, at least one celebrity will show up to your wedding.
I just want Rove. I don't even like Rove that much, but I want Rove to be at my wedding.
I feel like Rove is like a non-controversially, kind of liked personality that if he came to your wedding, it would be pretty cool.
I want someone...
Or you can wait until your friends that you existing have become famous.
I mean, it's optimistic.
Start really, really pressuring some of your friends to become famous,
I feel like at my wedding I would want someone who got kicked out of The Bachelor on week 4. Like someone who made it halfway through, that kind of person.
Maybe an ex Beauty and the Geek star.
Fuck yeah. Do you want one beauty and one geek, but not the two that ended up together?
Yeah, not the two winners, and they weren't even a pair on the show, and they weren't even on the same season.
Different season.
Just a random beauty and a random geek.
Oh my god. They don't even have to be from the show. It can just be a random beauty and a random geek.
Well, you know what? Literally anyone could say to me, "Oh, I was on season 6 of Beauty and the Geek," and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, sure."
Yeah, no, that tracks.
I'd have no reason to know otherwise. I'd be like, "Okay,
oh my god,
great, congrats."
Let's wrap up. I'm sorry.
What even is this episode?
I don't fucking know, dude. This is our second week in a row we've done it at night, and I've got to say, I was really getting used to those morning records.
Yeah. Look, we can go back to the morning next week, as far as I'm aware.
Let me check
my No, we're good for next week.
God, I hope we are. I'm gonna die otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay. I am Chris Bolson. Thank you for listening. fuck you. You don't need... This is my outro.
Okay, do your outro.
My name's Chris Paulson. I'm the only person on this podcast. Please follow us on Instagram and Twitter at OdManusCast. If you like the band The National, I produced another podcast called Coffee and Flowers that I think is decent. Please take a listen to that. It's much...
A lot of listens on that one.
It's much more successful than this podcast.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they would recommend ours on theirs, but you know...
You should have just slipped in like a subliminal promotion.
I should have just inserted it in one of the episodes before I hit publish.
Exactly.
Just to make an
like
ad.
after they've already listened through and like, oh, Chris, this is great. Nice editing. You just slip it in there.
Well, I mean, I have the password to the podcast feed.
Well,
so...
there you go. You can do it.
So you can say your name now.
Oh, I'm Alison Hoare.
Thank you.
And I got my name cut off by Chris before.
Thank you. My name got said twice there, so that makes me happy. So this is a story sent to me by my mum.
Oh, lovely. Another one of our regular listeners.
Yeah, so this is in the Medical Observer, so I can't actually read the entire article, but based on the 2 paragraphs I can read, I believe it's about a doctor who, one of their patients was, like, sad, so it was a widower. So they went with them to, like, a bread-making class, I think? And it was, like, maybe too personal of a thing to do, but, like, the doctor has no regrets.
Great.
So the headline is, when all a patient needs, KNEADS, is love,
Oh,
that's
my
what you
God.
should give them. And then, just wait, because the subheading is, perhaps I crossed a boundary, admits Dr. Pam Rakuten, but I would do it again. I'd make bread with this person again.
What? Okay. Crossing a boundary by making bread with someone.
I think it's because it's a personal connection, and you're not supposed to... Doctors
You're
have
not
to
supposed
be...
to, yeah.
Like journalists, lawyers, and God. Doctors
Journalists
are supposed to be
allowed
objective.
to make bread with... Not allowed to make bread with, yeah.
Anyone. We're not allowed to eat bread. It's
No, because bread is, like, inherently biased.
It's how we have such very sensual bodies, all of us.
Yeah.
None of us have any...
Sure.
None of us have stomachs at all, I promise.
Just trust us on that one. Well, we're here behind the microphone. You can't prove us otherwise.
True. Thank you for listening, folks, to me and my many abs that I definitely have.
Yeah. My hundreds of abs are very happy that you guys listen to this.
Good night. I'm so fucking tired.
Me too.